WynnCraft, Minecraft MMORPG, day 200 to 300. Watch 100 and 200 days first. Subscribe to me and to your Miss SMP, and go! On day 201, I logged in to find the 1.20 update has completely come out. This is what I wanted to happen before I started 300 days, so now we can go through, catch up with all the 1.20 stuff, and then finish off the stuff that I need to do. So, I logged in first to find a lot of new stuff to explore, including the very first quest in the game being redone. I headed to Deathless to complete it, and accomplished the quest by collecting a mushroom, and I discovered a secret discovery that had a mini-boss at the end of it. Day 202, I spent the entire day exploring New Sinfris, looking at all of the really awesome builds. So, a lot of Gavel was actually rebuilt in the 120 update, and Sinfris was completely redone, and it looks completely different now, and I thought it was super cool. I just spent the whole day here. Days 203 to 206, I did the Forbidden Prison remake quest. Now, you might actually remember this quest that I did in 100 or 200 days, but it was actually completely redone this time. Now I got put in prison for the many crimes I did on Wynn and Gavel provinces combined. So, I actually had to break out of this prison, dodge guards, collect items to open doors, and clean up the prison before escaping and destroying my own criminal records. Looks like all that terrible stuff I did just got burned away. Also, it seems these quests are taking about an hour each to complete now, as many people saying that the later game quests take a long time to complete, which is actually a decent amount of time, so these 100 days I might be able to get everything done, but I also might not, which means I might end up going to 400 days. Day 207 and to 210, I did the Alderai Secret Part 1 Remake quest. I grew some giant plants, snuck past some guards in the greenery, stole some illuminescent leaves, killed some plants, and then got a book. And in the end, I ended up deciding to keep the secret because this would give me a bigger reward overall. Day 211, I traveled to the Seed to redo the Hidden City quest, as it was reworked as well. All I did was travel to the Seed this day and then turn in the quest. It was actually interesting. The quest wasn't actually redone, but it was reopened for some reason. I don't really know why, but free experience and emeralds, I guess. Day 212, I completed the Burning Retribution remake quest, which had me infiltrate orc camps and kill their leader. I also collected keys to open a door, and it was pretty cool. Day 213, I did the remake quest for the Ironheart Part 1 quest. Instead of just killing a random golem, now there was more explanation in the lore, and it was an obvious story that this golem was being controlled by somebody, somewhere. I had to back off to Gavel to see what other quests I could do after this, and was hoping for a really good Ironheart Part 2 quest, and I got it. Day 214, I did the remake for the Ironheart Part 2 quest, which, while similar to the first one, I was actually able to have a tough time in this factory, doing puzzles, dodging fire, or even being timed towards the end. I was also able to actually choose whether or not I was good and evil, since before if you spam clicked, it just chose evil for you. So I decided to choose good this time, so I didn't have to go back to prison. On day 215, the next quest I had was the Realm of Light quest. However, I wanted to go ahead and do all the quests that were in between every single part, so that I can knock out all 5 parts all in one go. So on day 215, I did a quest called Reclaiming the House, which I believe is a brand new quest, as I don't remember doing any quests like this. I had to fight off a group of orcs that were attacking a small base, then plan an attack on the orc base, then infiltrate the base, free some guards by disguising myself as an orc. In the end, we ended up successfully taking back the base for the humans and kicked out all the orcs. On days 216 and 217, I did another remake quest where instead of going into a cave to quell small fires like I did before, there's now a legitimate reason they were here. Smugglers took in small slimes to Gavel from the Molten Heights, and they escaped, and I had to gather them back up and then kill a huge one in order to return them to the rightful place. The quest beforehand was kind of just interesting because it didn't really explain why the giant slimes was there, it was just there attacking things. Day 218 to 220, I went to Jellabird and it was being overrun by all the undead. Apparently the Pit of Lazarus has been leaking into the water supply and just raising the dead. So afterwards, I dug up some graves, headed to go find a chapel to see if I could find someone who can help me locate the pit. Now this is where the long part of this quest comes in. I had to gather specific infected water to revive 4 people from their graves and then help them with their tasks. Afterwards, I was able to open the crypt and find the location of the Lazarus pit. Next, I had to travel to the pit, fight 20 mobs, then solve an intermediate puzzle, and finally be able to stop the water from corrupting the area and bringing back the dead. Then I completed the quest. Day 221 and 222, I did the Shattered Minds remake quest. This took me to a weird dimension full of colors, just like before. There was a giant rat and a giant frog. He kept following me around and talking to me. Then at the end, he had me exploded and almost died into some random guy. I think this is a WynnCraft meme that I really don't understand, but I escaped it and I thought it was pretty cool. Day 223 and 224, I did the Lexdale Witch Trials new quest. This involved me doing a ton of parkour, chasing around a little bug, and I ended up capturing the bug and then saved the life of a girl who they blamed was a witch, but it was actually the bug doing stuff. I don't know, but the parkour in this quest was super annoying. Day 225 to 227, the next hour of my adventure was spent running around all of Simfris, trying to find specific areas to go to before boarding an airship, killing dragons, collecting an egg, and then returning below to enter the black market to sell those eggs for passports. You know, I thought I was done being evil, but I guess not. However, the quest was really interesting, and I really liked how they reworked this specific quest to be less annoying. Day 228 to 230, the next 3 days, I decided to go off and complete this interesting new quest series called The Feathers Fly. In this quest series, I returned to Quirkus and helped an outcast steal mechanical parts in order to build a machine that instantly grows trees. However, the machine malfunctioned and ended up hurting this chieftain, so the scientist at the workshop was banished again for trying to combine technology and magic. For the next 7 days, I would spend my time running around Quirkus City doing the second part of the Feathers Fly quest. I had to get Ava, the owl girl I helped in the first quest, get an audience with the Quirkian Council. After spending 48 emerald blocks for some tickets to go to the council meeting, as well as a long time actually figuring out where to go and who to talk to, we eventually made it to this meeting where she showed the council her machine and they loved it, before finding out she was an owl person and then they were racist and upset. Ava stormed off and had summoned this giant plant in the middle of Quirkus City out of spite. So obviously it was up to me to destroy it and return to her workshop, where a small deal was made that Ava was kind of exiled but also kind of not really. Not entirely sure. This by far was one of the longest quests I had ever done, and it got me 3 liquid emeralds and enough experience to finally hit level 99. Now I should be able to move on with current content, as well as grabbing a full new build for my chest that I had laid out here. The quest chain was pretty interesting, even though it was only 2 parts. Day 239 and 240, I spent the next 2 days in Quirkus completely respecking my character, as well as buying a secondary weapon that deals earth and lightning elemental damage, as my main weapon only dealt fire damage. So now I was able to fully set up a decent endgame build, as well as 2 different weapons to choose from, just in case, you know, the enemies had defense against fire damage or something. Day 241 and 242, I started the main Realm of Light quest chain. Now, this quest chain actually takes me the majority of these 100 days and lasts for a while. There are 5 parts. The first quest was a remake of the Wormholes quest, where me and this ice wizard, who I actually thought was a boy for a while, but turns out it's a girl, went into these holes underground to explore where we found these giant worms everywhere. We ended up fighting a boss giant worm, and I had to survive against him for 2 minutes. Then we were literally eaten by him, and the ice wizard had to freeze us out of his stomach. In the end, I escaped and unlocked the first raid called Nest of the Groot Slain. Day 243 and 244, I spent the next 2 days doing the second part of the Realm of Light quest chain. This was a remake of the Taproot quest where I had to go in and enter the Taproot and discover its secrets. I killed a mayor, did some parkour, traveled back in time to discover that the wizard I've been traveling with this whole time is some sort of angel, and she failed to destroy some corrupted thing, so now she's being shunned by Gavel. I should pay attention to the story more. This is kind of cool. Day 245 to 249, I spent the next 4 days doing the next part of the Realm of Light quest line. This had me traveling all around this giant castle, walking into memories of this wizard and her friend as they fought monsters, and inevitably one of them got corrupted. I won't go over the whole detailing of the story, as I don't want this video to be some huge essay on the lore, but if you're interested in some lore videos of WynnCraft, leave a comment below. We're halfway through this questline, and I want to say it's extremely well done. I'm having lots of fun with it, and I'm about to finish it and move on with some other things for the last half of the video, until I realize that the last couple quests are really long! Day 250 to 254, the second to last Realm of Light quest had me travel to Simfris, where I knocked the church bell off the wall, slammed it into the ground, where I fell into this room, and had to do this interesting parkour in order to pull a lever. But I didn't enter the door quick enough, and it closed, so I had to do it all over again. God dang it. Afterwards, I collected a spell and gave it to Larry. Larry? I don't know. Then, afterwards, she didn't want my help with whatever we had to do next, so I had to spy on her, then go in this cave, collect a flower. Apparently, I'd been doing all of Laurie's jobs for her, and it pissed her off, and she attacked me, so I ended up almost dying, but then the Guardian of the Forest stepped in and saved me. Afterwards, the Guardian explained that some of Gavel's lore and like how the Realm of Light is corrupted and I have to stop it, so we headed off to the Realm of Light entrance for the 5th and final quest of the chain. Day 255 to 259, I finished the Realm of Light questline. This involved me traveling into the Realm of Light and traveling all around these lands, meeting up with our wizard friend. Turns out the Realm of Light was being hurt by this parasite, and we had to stop it from taking over the whole land. I had to go inside these weird cube things, do parkour to escape, and it was pretty fun. In the end, the parasite traveled into the new raid, and I was going to have to complete that in order to finish off this questline. Day 260, I started at Cure Hive, completing the Thunder level. This is a higher level and Gabble version of the Tower of Ascension. I had to collect 5 keys to move on to the next level, ending at level 10. Each floor takes about 20 to 40 minutes, so I should be finishing up this quest real quick, unless it gets really difficult. Day 261 to 263, I actually struggled for an entire hour dealing with the air level, because of all these guys shooting their stupid range attacks, and I died like 4 times, and it took me so long, because of high damage and range attacks. I hate range attacks. They suck. Archers, you know who you are. You're watching this, archers. You suck. Suck, Archer. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and gear up a bit more before actually completing this challenge, and I headed off the next day to do some more quests, as I wanted to have a full build and maybe even a mythic weapon in order to do this quest fully, so I'll come back to it later. Day 264, I spent traveling around the Sky Islands and Molten Heights to see all the new and interesting building renovation. I actually have no idea if there was any, because I really didn't pay attention the first time I was here. So yeah, but I still looked around to see if I noticed anything different. Days 265 and 266, I started the Recipe for Disaster quest, where I entered a kitchen and spoke with the 3 different chefs to pick a meal to cook in order to gain my cooking license. I decided to pick the pie recipe because, pie, so I traveled all across the Sky Islands to obtain 3 different ingredients. I got an egg, a fern, or something, and I returned to Omsford as the 3rd ingredient was really far away. Day 267, I got distracted identifying items, storing things in a bank, looking at the auction house, and compacting all of my emeralds. So I literally spent like, I think 45 minutes just kind of like AFKing or walking around town and stuff like that. So I just kind of compressed that into one day. Oops. Day 268 and 269, I traveled to gather the last ingredient of this cooking quest. It was a special fruit. It was all the way over here by the docks on a really far away island. I managed to pick up the ingredient, return to the chef, and then spent about 15 minutes figuring out where to go, as nobody told me where his private dining room was. I found it eventually, turned in the quest, and got my reward. No, the coordinates of this was not on the wiki page at all, but I was almost level 100, which means I still had plenty of time to explore the Silent Expanse. Day 270, I started a quest called The Fortune Teller. It had me go into this castle, and I spent the day in the castle and ended up killing a witch stealing her bean. So then I returned to the guy, and he told me to just go back there, so I just went back and inevitably spent the entire rest of the day just lost in the castle. Day 271 and 72, I spent traveling these next 2 days. Since the quest didn't really tell me what to do, I decided to slash kill to get back to where I needed to, but of course, because it's WynnCraft, it spawned me in Tromps, halfway across the world. What the hell? So I spent the next 2 days traveling all the way across the entire world to get back to the Sky Islands again. It was kind of interesting, however, and I got distracted by this raid entrance I found, but I eventually made it back to continue on with the Fortune Teller quest. Day 273 to 275, I checked the library and listened to a song before going and searched for a place to plant the beanstalk seeds. I encountered the place, grew the beanstalk, and for the next 2 days attempted to climb it, only for it to not teleport me to the correct area multiple times. I climbed it up multiple times, relogged, do/class, did/kill, and come back, reconnected to the server, restarting Minecraft, and literally nothing worked. I even restarted my whole computer, so alas, I had to give up on this quest until it was fixed, and I ended up moving on with another objective. Day 276, I started the next quest in the Sky Islands when I suddenly glitched through the map and fell into the void. I ended up dying because there was nothing I could really do, and then ended up glitching through the floor again and falling into the void and dying again. Then it spawned me in freaking Thanos, so I had to walk all the way back. Day 277, I returned to Omsford, bought a wig, and entered the trial to become the next queen of the Sky Raider base. First trial was easy, it took me about the entire day, I just had to kill some mobs to prove my strength. The next trial, however, was not easy at all by any means. I had to fly this stupid ship across by pushing this stupid button, and I kept lagging, and it kept crashing, and I was here for like an hour until I finally beat it, and I hate this quest! Day 281, I traveled into this mansion, or well, tried to find a way in before giving up and checking the wiki because there were literally no hints given to me by any sort of dialogue or anything at all that it would be up here, hidden away on like the 2nd level or something, and I had to throw a rock into a hopper. I don't know, it was just really confusing. Anyways, I entered the mansion, sneaked past all the guards, killing a few as well, and stole their prized possession, then escaped in an airship, and I became the queen of the Sky Riders. I'm a queen! Let's go! Day 282 to 284, I started the next quest, which wanted me to go all around Gabble collecting rare items for a price. However, beforehand, I decided to go ahead and buy a brand new build from the auction house, as I wanted to make sure I had enough power while doing the last few quests in the game. This was really important for me, so I spent the next 3 days gathering tons of gear and items. By the end of the day, I had an air and mobility base with like move speed, and it was all about spamming spells. I had 2 weapons, Rewind and Ivory, that I'll eventually replace with like mythics or something if I ever get them. I wanted to get an Inferno build, but I highly doubt I'm going to ever get that much stuff by the end of these 100 days. But I did end up getting a pretty decent build that I do end up changing again by the end of this video, but you know, that's fine. Day 285 to 287, I continued doing the Hero of Gavel quest. Travel to Sinfris and Levigar to gather these items for the scavenger hunt, and afterwards I was able to actually win this scavenger hunt and go on a quest with Gavel's hero, Siegfried. Turns out he was just an actor and we plummeted into the abyss below. I had choices to make at specific parts, save him or have him die, and there was this really complicated puzzle, and turns out he ended up dying super easily on this really complicated puzzle that I literally have no idea how it worked. However, when I returned to the surface, he was alive and well, and it just seems very off at the fact he was alive, and there had to be something else. Like, if I were to redo this quest and save him, there had to be some other, like, ending to this quest. It just confused the hell out of me. But I continued on afterwards because there was nothing else I could do to really figure out this mystery. Day 288 to 290, I spent finishing up the Fortune Teller quest as I was told it was no longer bugged out, and sure enough, I climbed up the beanstalk again and was actually transported to the right place. Day 288 ended with me talking to this dragon and collecting a book called Wealth or Knowledge. According to the wiki, this book could be used in the library in Levigar somewhere, but it doesn't really tell me where, so I spent the entire day looking. Then threw the book into the hopper where it said I needed to, which opened a path that I tried to get up, but the door closed before I could get in. So I spent day 290 trying to figure out how to get another book, and turns out this game was designed where you physically cannot get another book unless you make a new character. So WynnCraft, literally screw you. I wasted so much time on this quest. Day 291, I was finally able to do the final 3 quests of the game, the quest in the Cyan Expanse. I was going to be spending my last 10 days in this entire zone, so whatever I don't finish will be accessible via some YouTube stream VODs, and maybe I'll make a new video on 400 days if more updates come out, because I still didn't complete Cura Hive or question. I'll be doing those in either a separate video or a live stream or something, I don't really know, or maybe I'll just wait for 400 days, who knows. Anyways, let's get on with the Journey Beyond quest, as I spent this whole day kind of just like preparing inside Death. Day 292 to 295, this quest took a really long time to complete, and I actually cut it in half with the amount of days it was taking because I didn't want to like have the entire rest of the video be this one quest. So it was actually a really good quest though. I had a really fun time with it, and it was a great opening quest to the Science Expanse. Looks like I'll be spending the rest of my time here though. I might make a video completely dedicated to the last quest in the game, the Hunter's Calling, because a lot of people said it was really good. Anyways, it seems with the time I have left, I might be able to finish a journey further and then the full clear of Eldritch Outlook, which I'm excited to do, but that still leaves a few things left over, so perhaps a new WynnCraft update will come out and I'll do 400 days. Who knows? Anyways, this quest was crazy. First, we opened the way to the Silent Expanse. Then, we had to create a magic item to weaken the boss that was summoned. Then we killed the boss. Then the 3 NPCs I was with apparently died, and I had to go find them. 2 of them were actually dead, and Aladar was the only remaining survivor. Then I had to spend forever escorting him all the way to the city. And this was an extremely well done quest, but it did take a really long time. Definitely in my top 10. On day 296, I completed the Journey Further quest. I had to reach the Eldritch Outlook, and in order to do that, I traveled through void holes, killed monsters, and helped get Aladar there. Then he told me his plan was to sacrifice me, but instead, because he was so injured, I sacrificed him. Now, I had to go to the Outlook and defeat the corrupted monster, the Eye. However, in order to do this, I needed either other players or to be as strong as possible. Days 297 and 298, I actually returned home to Deathless and wanted to finalize a build utilizing Flame Shot Hilt in order to have as high DPS as possible. I want to have a full build with this legendary weapon, and I ended up going with a cancel stack build, which means stacking a ton of attack speed on a really low attack speed weapon, or something like that. I don't really know exactly what all this stuff means, but I know that there's still a lot of stuff to do in WynnCraft for me, but it is ending the 300 days here, so there's only one more thing I have left to do. Alright, this brings us to the final 2 days of this entire series. Unless I do 400 days, which I probably won't, but you never know. I spent the final days in the final dungeon of the game, attempting to beat the boss called the Eye, and finish out the series on a high note. I did this dungeon live on YouTube and attempted to solo it with a pretty decent Flame Shot Hilt build. I was using this build earlier in the 100 days video, but I decided to go ahead and use it again because it was my strongest build and probably the best way for me to win. I know that I still have tons and tons of stuff to do, including the Cura Hive, as well as completing a build for endgame and getting mythics and stuff, but I'm very happy as far as I got in these 300 days, so perhaps I could do 400 days. Can't promise when or where, but maybe I'll do it eventually. Who knows? Anyways, this dungeon was absolutely insane. There were mob fights with hard mechanics, parkour with ridiculously annoying, like, floating invisible block things, and hands down, the best part of the dungeon was the eye, the hardest boss in the game by far. It took me 2 attempts to beat, but with full buff potions and a ton of healing potions, like literally, like my whole inventory, I was definitely able to make an impact and completely destroy the eye on my second attempt, as the first attempt I ran out of potions because I just didn't bring enough or whatever. And anyway, I felt like there were mechanics to learn, and I honestly felt like I was playing World of Warcraft and not WynnCraft, so really well done for the WynnCraft team. A fitting final boss fight for the entire ending to this magnificent series. After this, I returned to Deathless one last time, looked around at my surroundings, and I was done. Perhaps I'll do 40 days in the future, you never really know. But anyways guys, that's all for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the ending to this beautiful series, and if you like the content, please subscribe, it really does help out my channel. And as always, keep your pants on. Bye-bye.